Hey YouTubers, Raven here.
Starfire.
And today we're talking about The Outpost.
Yup, Season 4, Episode 2, A Throne of Our Own.
It was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
I like the I like that Phyllis was having a hard time kind of like deciding who she was gonna side with.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, she's not inherently evil. She understands that that those two are bad news. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And like I was I was kind of starting to like her, because of how she was with Gwen, and she was like, she bent the knee, and she was like really reverent of Gwen. She respected and looked up to Gwen, and now she's acting like she didn't.
But then as soon as Gwen dies, she wants to bring Tobin back.
Yeah, but I think that her personality switch from then to now and how she talks about Gwen now is more so because like Gwen was so much, and she sees the shoes that she has to fill, and she probably feels inadequate, which leads her to lead the way she's leading, which isn't very good. Yeah. But it's because she's feels as inadequate as she is, and she doesn't know how to compensate for that.
Right.
I think if she learned how, then she could be she could be a great queen. She just killed off two. But hey, better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
I just hope that doesn't make Tobin do bad things.
The kinge doesn't make the person.
Yeah, but when it's all three of them, the two of them were influencing her.
Yes. But that's because it was 2 versus 1. Like, it was like, oh no, we've been around longer. We've had these powers longer. We know more than you.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 of us, and 1 of you, and your weak little flimsy human husband over here.
Who's meaningless because he doesn't have a kinge.
And now that's not the case, so now it's those 2 against a very weak older woman. Just because you can't use a kinge, the old man number 3 demonstrated that he can use his kinge on another kinge person because it doesn't involve attacking the kinge. And so, I mean, he can just do that. Tobin can just do that to 2 if he ever needed to. And I think 2 knows it. She's sweating.
That's why she's like, I will do whatever you ask.
Yeah.
Like, I will be loyal to you.
Don't kill me. Yeah. So it's not the kinge that makes a person change. It's the circumstances. And I mean, you can look at it as with great power comes great responsibility, which it does.
Yep.
But also, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Exactly.
So it's like it's 2 sides of the same coin. Either you have absolute power and you use it to help others, or you have absolute power and it corrupts you. It's not the kinge that's doing the corrupting, it's the person who can't handle the power.
Yeah.
And that's why the 3 went evil in the first place. They took their powers. They probably started off the same as Phyllis, trying to help betterment the mankind.
Help society, yeah.
Yeah, for the betterment of everyone. And then they slowly let the power get to their heads. I mean, they lived for so fucking long. Like, they're ancient. And so if you look at it that way, they've lived so long with the power that they had that they let it corrupt them because they became complicit with,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean, most people that have a lot of power do get that way.
Mm-hmm.
It does tend to get abused more often than it gets used for good.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see Tobin turning, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know he loves Philista. Like, not like he loved Gwen, but he does love Philista, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that, eventually, if Philista truly does lose herself to the power and lets it corrupt her, then he will do something about it.
Yeah, he'll put her in line.
With the point of a blade. Like, I mean, she can't hurt him anymore like she would have been able to, you know? And so he, like...
I actually didn't hate Garrett this episode because he was demonstrating his loyalty. He doesn't want to support the three because of what they took from him.
Yeah.
And what they made him do when he was being controlled and drugged.
Mm-hmm.
And made him kill his own father, and Tobin killed his father, and they killed Tobin's father.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand why he's not going to be loyal to them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like that girl said, just tell them that you will. They're just words.
Yeah, but also they're not.
True.
Like, they are, but they aren't. It's like me giving someone my word, you know? Like,
because to
they're
him,
just words.
Because to him,
then...
doing that is literally, like he said, that's not the way I choose to live my life. Like, that is literally, like, for him, his, like, lifeblood or whatever. Like, it's literally what he lives for. He's not going to just say it if he doesn't truly mean it.
Mm-hmm. It's basically his words are his honor.
Yeah.
If he does bend the knee, then he is honor bound to serve them. And he won't do that.
Yeah.
So he won't bend the knee. I respect him for that.
Me too.
But I just find him annoying.
Well, he wasn't really annoying this episode, though.
I don't know. Just his presence grates on me.
If he continues to push Talon to be queen, then he'll be annoying.
But I mean, she's already basically accepted it.
But if he's just behind bars and he's just doing what he's doing like he did this episode, then I can deal with that.
Yeah, and it's gonna take a while for his presence to no longer grate on me. Cause, I don't know, like...
Well, do you think that Ren is going to embrace her high priestess side and research everything and help Talon and Zed?
I think at some point it'll get to a point where she doesn't have a choice. But all the books are back in the Plane of Ashes.
Yeah.
So I think everything's gonna come to a head.
Mm-hmm.
And Talon will have to go back to the Plane of Ashes with Ren and Zed and get the books and bring back the rest of the Blackbloods under the condition, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like, I mean, at this point, they kind of still feel like there's hope, and Talon feels like she doesn't need the Blackbloods just yet. But I think that there will come a point where Talon realizes, yeah, no, I can't stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where all the Blackbloods that are living there realize that it's not safe. And they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe back to that old place where Zed found his kin. That was a historical site for the Blackbloods. It was a temple and it was a living space.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was one of their colonial homes, you know?
Yeah.
And so maybe they go back and they start building a place for themselves there, and Talon brings all the humans that wants to come. Well, okay, but now she has to build up an army for that, you know, and on top of that, she has to defeat the gods that are awakening.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she has to, like, find people to fight the gods.
Mm-hmm.
But those gods called Philista, like, basically an equal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, she can't depend on the three to help her. I mean, she can depend on Tobin to offer some sort of aid whenever he's able to. But Philista won't, and 2 definitely won't. So, she's going to have to build up her own army, which will require the rest of the Black Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. So she's going to have to find a place for them to stay. Philista and 2 won't allow the rest of the Black Bloods to come through and stay in the Outpost.
Mm-hmm.
So eventually the Outpost is going to have to stop being in the Outpost. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I figured Janzo would be happy about it. I didn't think that he would be upset about Ren.
I love that he fainted.
Yeah. I like how Munt was like, you bought a child? You found one on the side of the road? It's like, no, Munt!
Like, why would I? Who in the right mind would buy a child? Sorry, mother.
Like, he's like, how did this happen? I'm like, Munt!
And he's like, oh! I'm like, oh my gosh, Munt.
I love you, you little dope.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm not sure Ren will be too happy that those 2 found out, but at the same time it's Janzo.
Yeah.
So,
I think as long as he just doesn't make a big spectacle about it.
mhm.
I think if he just, like, if a few people find out, it's not as big of a deal as if, like, everybody knows.
Right, like, maybe
you
don't tell Talon.
Well, Talon's not gonna go tell everyone.
Right, but, like, I mean, Talon would definitely treat her differently.
Yeah.
You know? And, like, Zed just likes to make fun of her.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, why would you let Janzo do that?
Like, Zed already knows, and he's not treating her differently.
No. But I think it's because it's within Black Blood culture to just leave it alone. Like, it doesn't matter. Because, I mean, they have healing properties, and they're tougher than humans anyways. Like, they're more durable. So, it's easier to ignore. That and, like, living in the Plane of Ashes, if people had babies when living in the Plane of Ashes, I'm pretty sure they weren't able to coddle the mothers because there was way too much shit going on they had to protect themselves against.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah. So, I think this season is going to be focused a lot on the gods and the awakening of the gods and trying to figure out what they are and how to deal with that. Yeah. So.
I definitely agree.
And what's that girl's name who tried to kill Philista?
I don't.
Anyway, the one who tried to kill Philista.
The idiot child.
Just seeing... I mean, we don't really know a lot about her.
She's the Dragonman's sister?
Yeah, but we don't know that much about her.
Yeah, I'm just saying. all we know is that she was the Dragon's sister. That she could have been the Dragon, but she didn't have abilities of that high a level, and so it went to her sister. And they weren't raised regularly. They were raised in a temple of some sort where they were trained. And she somehow became an assassin. So, there's that.
Yeah.
That's all we know about this bitch. Like,
I mean, you know, she shouldn't have gone and tried to kill Felista, but I would like to learn a little bit more about her. I want to see the rest of the cast.
Trying to find her name.
Yeah.
Well. Maybe she's not listed yet because she's just, you know, a 2-time recurring character.
Maybe. But we have seen her in other episodes where she just didn't say anything. She was like in the background with the other people in the Outpost.
Yeah, last week's episode where she was introduced to Talon. This is only episode 2.
I thought we'd seen her before that.
No. She was pickpocketing people during the Queen's Memorial in the first episode.
Yeah.
And that was it. Because the very final episode of last season was the massive fight where Gwen died.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't have been around for that. So we've only seen her in these 2 episodes. So it's just, it doesn't...
I don't know if that's what maybe? Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, at this point, like, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
We'll probably find out next week. Probably hear it said again or whatever. I don't even think they said her name at all this episode.
I thought they had last week, but
They said her name last week because she introduced herself to Talon. But I don't think they said her name at all this week. So
wasn't it like Luna or Tara or something like that?
Oh, it's not Tara. I don't know. But yeah.
I mean, I don't like all of her impulsive decisions, but I would like to learn more about her.
Yeah. I think
maybe she'll work with them. Maybe she'll work with Talon and
I think she will. She'll become part of the team. I think that with some time and a little bit of refinement, she can be more like Talon and, you know,
well, that's why
control
Garrett
herself.
said that, you know, she reminded him a lot of Talon. I don't like that the Prime Order shut down the bar. Because that's the place that they go to, you know, have fun and have a good time.
Right.
They need something like that.
Yeah.
It's a very...
People need an outlet, and you just took away the only one they have.
I mean, I'm not saying that they should, like, drink themselves into oblivion, but I'm just saying it's a place where they're all able to gather and, like, get away from a lot of the chaos that's going on around them outside.
Yeah.
And the things they have to deal with. And then this is just them coming in and being like, you can't have this, you know?
Yeah.
So, like any other time people like that have invaded and taken, you know, and like, this can't be here.
Yeah.
Or you can't dance here, or you can't do this, you know?
Yeah. So it's just... It's sad. But I love, whatever Munt's girlfriend's name is.
Lolita or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But, like, I love her reaction to everything tonight. Like, she doesn't speak much. I wish she did. I want to know more about her. I want her to have a bigger role.
Yeah.
Than just standing in the background whenever Munt's around. Because she's more than that. And
her name is Warlita.
Warlita. I would like her, to have a bigger role. Which, I mean, maybe she might now that she's becoming the royal body washer to Felista.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those people definitely had a role in the previous seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
Janzo's girlfriend / twin sister. And then, it's just, they've had important roles. And so I think that Orlita will have an increasingly more important role as time goes on.
That's Ren.
Wow. She looks nice. She does herself up nice.
Izuka? Whale.
So, yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Tobin.
He looks cuter on the show. Maybe it's because he's wearing a suit there.
Reese Ritchie is Zed.
That's sad.
Why is that sad?
I don't know, just like whenever I hear Richie, I think Richie Rich, and so it's just like So is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay. So I guess
until
next time, keep fighting for what you believe in.